Hey everybody, welcome to Mammoth Interactive's YouTube channel. First of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. And remember that this channel doesn't do Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital courses down below. And every single dollar that we get from the products you buy below goes into making more content. The best way to help out this channel and Mammoth Interactive is to subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. Get thousands of hours and hundreds of courses for a low price down below. We have a monthly option and a yearly option. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the video.
Okay, in this video we are going to go ahead and build a chessboard and all the pieces on top of said chessboard. Now, to start off with our project, I'm just going to go ahead and delete all the objects in our scene here, and we are going to, instead of using a cube, we're going to create a plane. Now with our plane, I'm just going to make this, I guess, 10 times larger. Let's go like 10 by 10. And now the amount of, I guess the amount of squares that you have in a chessboard is 8 by 8. So actually I should have made this 8 by 8 instead of the current 10 by 10. So I'm just going to undo that process right there. Let's go Shift A, create a new plane. Instead of 10, we're going to go with 8 meters. This way, we can just simply go into edit mode. We can add in edge loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 scrolls, and you'll get a equal division of 8 edge loops, or 8 little grid spaces right here. So double click. We want those spaces perfectly aligned. And then I'm just going to go add in additional edge loops here on the side as well to match that. And there you go. An 8 by 8 squared checkerboard or chessboard in our case. We're going to go into the side right here. And we're going to go into face mode. Click A. It'll select the whole board. And we will go to select. I'm going to use the checker deselect that is built in right here. As you can see, perfect. And now all we have to do to sort of create a black and white board or checkered board right here is to add in the materials right now. First off, I'm going to create new, and let's add another one. Let's create new right here. We're going to just select the color black. Gonna select the material right here and assign it. Right now I can't see the color change. That's because we are in the solid color sort of mode right here. Just gonna go over, click Z, switch it over to look dev, and as you can see, we have a black and white checkerboard. Very simple, straightforward, and pretty easy to create right here. Next up, I'm just gonna rename these just in case. Let's go white color, black color. We're going to reuse these for the chess pieces themselves. First, I am thinking of adding sort of a border to our little chessboard right here. Let's just go into edit mode. I'm going to go to edge mode right here. Let's grab these outer edges. Extrude scale. Oop, I'm in object mode. I should have looked at the top left. Let's go back into edit. Control 2 for us. Just going to select the outer edges right here. And we're going to extrude this out. Scale, Shift Z. So the scale is just outwards. Actually, before we scale it, I'm going to turn on snap mode. Shift tab. So now we can get a equal sort of snapping. I'm going to make it so that it is sort of scaled to, I guess, 1 grid space right there. We don't have to make it too massive, unless you want this to be like a giant table. But yeah, we're just going to go extrude, scale, outwards. Let's snap it in place. There you go. And I am going to go into face mode and select the outer faces right here. Let's go ahead and add in a new color. Let's say like table color or board edge color. change the color to, I'm thinking like a wooden brown, sandy type of, I don't know, kind of board. Decrease the brightness of it to make it more brown. I feel like something like sandalwood, something like that seems pretty good. Gonna assign it. Check it out. We have sort of the edge. Gonna add in an extrusion. Let's go extrude. Move it on the z-axis upwards, so there is some sort of height to the outer edge right here. And just gonna assign those outer sections. So grab those, assign those, get the color. Seems pretty good. And then let's just go ahead and grab these outer edges again. I am going to bevel it. Control B, throw in a slight bevel. Not too much that it sort of crosses the boundary into the actual checkerboard itself. And there you go. We have sort of this nice little outer edge. We could also shape it up, make it a little bit rounder by sort of making the corners also beveled as well, like so, to make it just look a little bit different. Now, if you don't want it to sort of compress into the actual checkerboard itself, we could just cut this piece out right here, and then slightly mess with it just with this corner over here, not the internal structure over here. Let's go ahead and split this. I'm going to go Control 3, go to face mode, deselect, grab just these pieces right here, and we're going to click on P. That's separate by selection. So now we have the actual checkerboard right here and the outer edge separated. I am just going to go ahead and rename these objects just in case. Actually, that's called the first collection, the chessboard. And this is the board edge or board wood panel. I don't know, any type of name you want it to be. And let's switch this to just checker surface. Checkered. And let's go ahead, mess around with this piece. Let's go grab these edges. And again, I guess I'm not gonna sort of play around with that lone edge right there. We're just gonna add in a bevel on that side, Control B. It's gonna spread that outwards like so. And we could kind of just push this back in, double click G and just slide it out. Actually, no. I am going to not select this piece so that it doesn't kind of crush inwards right here. Let's go Control B over here instead. You can add in longer sort of section right here, a more smooth bit right here. And I am just going to combine these two pieces right here. Let's go merge these two vertices. I'm going to merge from, should be the last. Clicks in the corner. It only creates this surface right here. Well, these sections are still like squared faces. Only this one section is triangled. So I don't have to worry too much about that. And if we want, we can just simply sort of duplicate the same process by mirroring all the corners to get this nice little groove at the end. Actually, you know what? I feel like I could probably smooth this out a little bit. I can add in like an extra edge loop here to take away this triangle right here. I'm going to switch our snap mode from increments over into vertex. I'm going to move this, click on G. And actually, I'm not going to snap it to this one point. Let's go with, let's try like median. I'm going to click G, snap it to generally around here. Wait. That doesn't work like so. Let's go into the side view. I'm gonna go into wireframe. I am going to turn on the gizmo from move. I'm gonna just pull like this, and we're gonna snap it towards this like so, and it should go in a better looking position. Should be dead center between these 2 points. If you look on the top view, yeah, as you can see, it's snapped perfectly. It's all straight. Actually, it is not really that straight on the y-axis or the x-axis right here. You can just go over here and snap it. Check it again. Go back into, I guess we could go just solid right here. Look at how that looks. Seems okay. There's like this weird divot that we might need to fix up a little. Like shaping this, snapping this a little bit over here, back in place. So it's a sort of a true corner kind of look to it. Or we could just split this. Click K, snap, cut this in piece, and we get like a perfect sharpened corner right here. But yeah, there you go. I am going to repeat the process, or not repeat the process. I'm going to mirror this corner piece right here, and that will give us all 4 corners with that nice smooth sort of edge right there. Let's go delete faces, click L, delete all those pieces, and I'm going to go into the modifiers, switch it over into mirror, X and Y. Let's go back into, don't delete that. Let's go back into look dev. Check it out, seems pretty good. I feel like we could probably just shift this out a little bit, make this like, I don't know, a little bit smoother. Let's grab like just these 2 edges right here. And let's go in the top view. So going at increments, just slightly shift this, I guess like a little bit like that. And it seems pretty good. But yeah, there you go. We have fairly decent looking chessboard to start off. And we will continue on by making the individual chess pieces. Actually, I don't like this color right here. I think we should make it a little bit more brownish type of color. That's a bit too red. Definitely need to darken this down a little bit more. That's too dark. Let's go like more towards the orangey kind of brownish color. Yeah, there we go. Seems pretty good. But yeah, there you go. Simple chessboard. We will come back to this later. Let's take a short break and see you in the next video. Okay, now that we have our chessboard, let's go ahead and create a new layer. I'm just going to call this the pawn layer. Click new, change this into pawn, and just going to hide our chessboard. First things first, we're going to go ahead and create a new mesh. We're going to use the UV sphere. 32 by 16 segments is a little bit too high. I'm just going to drop this down to, say, I guess 12. 12 by 12 seems good enough. And right there, we can just simply click Shift F so we focus our sort of selection or sort of camera view on the sphere here. I am going to go back into, well, I'll stick to increments right here, and we're going to bring this sphere up on the z-axis by a few, grid spaces up top. Let's go click G, move on the z-axis. Let's just snap it into, let's say, around here, roughly. I'm going to go to the bottom section of the sphere. I'm going to grab these bottom sort of faces right here. Click B to also select those faces. And I'm just going to go ahead and let's go into the side view again. Extrude this down on the z-axis all the way to the bottom section of the grid. After that, we're just going to delete this face. Let's click X, delete faces. And go back and see if it's perfectly aligned. It's just slightly off. I'm going to go and just grab the bottom edges right here, sort of shift them upwards, roughly around there. Then go rotate downwards, click F, fill that section out. Let's add in a few edge loops down here. Let's go like roughly around, I guess, this height. Let's go into face mode here. Grab the bottom faces. Scale Shift Z, so it's not going to affect the Z axis. Just get it to about, I guess, roughly around this size right here. Gonna add in a few additional edge loops here and there to create these, I guess, the rough edges or designs that you typically see on a chess piece or a pawn. Well, for the pawn. Let's go Control B and add in a bevel. And let's increase the segment to, let's say, like 2. Grab the center edge, scale outwards. I'm going to add in an edge loop down to around like this section. Bevel this again. But in this case, we're going to shrink the size of sort of the base section. And with that, we're going to add in additional edge loops here and just keep creating these sort of bevel-like shapes here. Let's go add in edge loops here and here. Control B, throw in that bevel, scale this outwards, and this piece right here, Control B, somewhere roughly like so. Let's go into face mode. I'm going to select this section here, scale inwards, Shift Z, and we have sort of a chess piece right here, base, that we can kind of reuse later on when we're designing the other chess pieces. Let's keep sort of shaping this up. I'm just going to go into the side view here. It's easier to kind of see how the shape will look. Let's shrink this down, make it a little bit more well, compact over here in the center. Scale Shift Z, and she doesn't do that. Rather, add in a other sort of edge loop here that we can sort of mess with. Scale Shift Z, so it keeps with that sort of angle that it's going down with, and it kind of transitions from like the straight cylinder up into a spherical shape. As you can see right here, seems pretty good. This bottom piece, this base area, could probably add in a few more details to it. I am thinking of maybe adding sort of a, I guess, kind of a divot in the center. Make this like, I don't know, bulge out over here. Just add in edge loop over here. Maybe double click G, slide this up, bevel this, and I'm just going to grab the center edge, scale downwards, like so, and that's pretty good. Add in another edge loop, roughly around here. I'm going to grab the outer edge over here, click O, and we're just going to scale by proportion, just slight scaling. Grab this piece, scale out as well, Shift Z, and this piece as well, scale it out. Decrease selection, so it just makes it bulged out right there. Let's go Control B, this section. I don't want 2 segments now, I'm just going to drop it back down to 1. Let's go into edge mode, double click G, slide it up a little bit, scale outwards, decrease the proportional selection, and I'm just going to grab both of these guys, slightly push it up by double clicking G, grab this piece, click G, scale out, and that seems a lot better. Yeah, there you go. We have a pawn chess piece. Let's go in and into object mode, which we currently are at. Right click, set this to a smooth shading. That looks just a lot better. Now in smooth shading, if you want things to, or some of the edges to look less sharp, a little more, I guess, evened out, we definitely need to add in some edge loops or some bevels to kind of split them. And some areas where you want things to be more crisp, you'll definitely need to add additional edge loops as well Just gonna grab these sections right here, grab these edges, and Control B. Just do a slight bevel to those edges. As you can see, everything looks a lot more crisp to these structures. Do the same thing to the areas that you are creating sort of a divide. Control B, add in the bevel. There you go, seems pretty good. I am going to just keep crimping and kind of making things look crisp. There's like better divides in certain areas over here. And I'm gonna maybe add in an additional edge loop here to make this more smooth. So right now it just looks a little bit clunky. Grab these portions, Control B, and this section, I'm gonna grab these guys, scale it inwards a tad bit, and it kinda evens it out. Grab this bottom edge, this piece right here, Control B, slight bevel. There you go. Nice little curved bottom. And yeah, that seems pretty good for the base of our chest piece. Now I'm gonna maybe add in an additional sort of edge loop here. Gonna bevel this section to take off the weird shadows. And then we're gonna go to the top side. I feel like we should probably spread this out. Maybe add in a few additional edge loops to this section to make it look a little bit more curved. Let's just go Control B, bevel this section out, add in few sort of sections here, or actually 2 segments seem good enough. Go in object mode, this section right here, double click G, slide it downwards a little bit. Same with this guy right here. And just try and evenly spread things out. Yeah, there you go. Nice little curve right here. And yeah, generally we have a fairly decent looking pawn piece right here. I am just going to go ahead, click Control A, set transformations, all transformations, to reset it to 0, as you can see right here. Sets the center origin down to the grid, making it easier for us to kind of move around on our chessboard. And now we're just going to sort of turn on our chessboard again. Definitely need to shrink this down, as you can see. Scale this down to roughly around this size, seems pretty good. I am going to turn on vertex and median. Seems like a good way to move things around. They'll snap to the midpoints of these areas. Now, if you want the chess piece to actually snap on to the center of a grid, we'll definitely need to add in an additional subdivision onto our board here. To do that, all we have to do is just click A, right click, subdivide. And there you go. We have a midpoint section on all the individual grids, giving us access to snapping our chess piece onto said spaces. So just going to click on G, and it will snap in place. Let's go ahead and top view right here and see how big we can now sort of scale this piece. I'm going to scale this upwards a little bit right here, and you know what? I'm going to put this back in place in the center. Control A, set transformations, everything. As you can see, it rescales everything back to 1 as default now, so we can go ahead and sort of play around with this. I'm going to duplicate this. Let's put in place where the chess pieces would lie usually. Now in chess, you have all the pawns in the front, so we're just going to go ahead. We're going to duplicate this, snap it in place, and with the second one done, all we have to do is just click Shift R, Shift R, Shift R, Shift R, Shift R. There we go. We have all the pawn pieces on the white side lined up. Duplicate this piece right here. I'm going to go Shift D, move it in place to the other side right here, which is going to be the black pieces. Now, we are going to simply shift or change the material for said piece. I am just going to go ahead and select the black color for one of the pieces right here. And we grab all the rest over here, Control L. We're just going to link the first batch over there and make sure that the one that you want to select the color on is highlighted in the bright orange color. That is the prime. So Control L, materials, there you go. It links everything together. They're using the same colors. Now these guys are using the default sort of white color. We're just going to assign it to, I guess, white color, just in case. Let's go ahead and Control L, materials. Yeah, there you go. We have our pawn pieces, and we can pretty much just take, like, I don't know, one piece right here, Shift D, move it into the center. You can repurpose this pawn and sort of just cut off the head to create the other pieces or other variants of the chess pieces. Since we already have the bottom base, we don't have to remake that. Unless your bottom base, you want to change it up a little bit, you can do that. But right there, we have our pawn pieces. We will continue on later to create the other pieces. For now, let's take a short break and come back to this later. Okay, now that we have our pawn piece completed, the next logical piece that we're going to go towards is the rook piece, or the castle, which sits on the outer corners of the chessboard. Now, if you've played chess before, you'd know that it goes rook, knight, bishop, your king and queens sit over here, and then it mirrors on the other side here as well. I've also kind of noticed that some of the unique chess pieces, such as the sort of whole backline right here, they have a larger base when compared to the pawn. I'm thinking of slightly shrinking the current pieces that we have on the board, because as you can see, if I were to say scale up these guys any more, since I'm going to be reusing the pawn piece right here, it's going to kind of cross into the other borders right here. So definitely need to shrink this down and just keep this original size that we have right here. To do that, we're just going to simply take all these pieces and we're going to delete those. I'm going to scale this down. Just going to go into top view right here. Scale this down about like this much. Seems good enough. Let's go right click, snap to the center of our grid. Let's go selection to cursor. I'm going to click on Control A to set the transforms back to 1. So this becomes the sort of base default size. Just click G, drag it all the way back to the center point, or the center point of the little checker space right here. And we're just going to go ahead and duplicate this. Shift D, snap it over, Shift R, and repeat the other steps right there. And there you go, we have the small pawn pieces. I'm going to go ahead and take these, the white side chess pieces. I'm going to delete those. Take the dark ones right here, Shift D, move it over, and there you go, we have those pieces over there. Just switch back the materials back to white. I'm going to go from black to white color, and since we have that as the prime, Control L, materials. And there you go, we have our pawn pieces back in place. I'm just going to go ahead, take this piece, and we're going to create a new layer right here. Let's just right click, new, drag that sphere or that pawn piece in here, and we're just going to scroll up, hide the checkerboard and the pawn pieces. Going to rename this as the rook, or you can call it the castle, whatever. I'm just going to call this the rook. Click on Shift F, jump to our object here. Going to go into edit mode, and instead of using this sphere-like structure, let's go into face mode and grab the sort of large upper face right here. Delete faces. Click L, delete those faces. I'm going to grab the edges on this side right here, and we're going to turn off proportional editing. I'm going to scale this outwards, and we're going to extrude on the z-axis, pull this upwards, scale it out even more, like roughly around this size. See how it looks. Maybe a little bit too high up. I think around here seems roughly good. We are going to click F to fill that section out. Click extrude, scale inwards. Guess about this much seems pretty good. And then we're just going to select the sort of upper faces. Like, let's go over here, select them like so. And we're just going to extrude this upwards on the z-axis. There you go, we have a Rook piece right here. Definitely need to fix some things. Right now it looks a little bit too smooth. Some of the sections we might need to add in, again, bevels. Extrude up on the z-axis. Check how it looks. Center looks kind of odd. Just gonna deselect, grab this face right here. Extrude, scale inwards. And I'm gonna extrude it again. Pull it inwards. That's like, say, around this size. Actually, that's a bit too much. I'm going to switch over into increments again for the snap mode. Let's go into wireframe so I can see things a little bit better. Let's go in and actually let's jump back to solids. Right click, poke face, seals it off. Let's go back in edge mode. Control B, add in a bevel right here. Decrease the amount of segments we need. Don't need that many right there. There you go. Seems pretty good. I'm gonna kind of sharpen out this section. Let's just scale it out just a tiny little bit more. Control B, sharpen it out. There you go. Fairly decent looking castle piece. Let's maybe bevel this section as well, or we could push it down just a tad bit. Let's go into wireframe, pull this down, go back up, go into solids, Control B, add in this nice little groove right there, and there you go. We have a decent looking Rook piece. Could also make the base a little bit larger. I'm just gonna go in. Could probably delete these extra edge loops since it's more less smooth on these. Well, this piece right here, we don't need that. That transition between the sphere to the base right here. It's gonna dissolve those edges. Grab this piece. It's gonna raise this up. Take this one, dissolve edge as well. Check it out. Yeah, it's just a lot more of a crisp look to it. Add in the bevel right here to kind of give that separation between the base and the upper tower right there. Yeah, there you go. We have our Rook piece, and now we just have to duplicate it and set it into our sort of chessboard. Before we do anything, I'm just going to prep this for our next piece. Let's just take a piece of our Rook, since we want the same base. Shift D, drag and drop in there. Go back into our Rook layer right here. Turn on the chessboard. Let's go back into Look Dev. Take our Rook, and we're just going to click on G, snap it. Oh, right. We got to go back into vertex and median. That way we can snap it on the board. Shift D, snap it all the way here. Take these two pieces. Shift D, move it on to the center point. There you go. Now we just have to switch this to with the white color material. Control L. Oop. Whatever. I'll just manually grab it here. Yeah, there you go. Our rook and our pawns. Ew, okay, that is a slight problem. Just had to rotate this, don't worry. Let's go into increments, rotate on Z-axis, click Control, so it kind of snaps in certain increments. And there you go, we have our rotations down, perfect. And yeah, there you go, we have rook and our pawns. As you can see, the larger, sort of unique pieces are slightly bigger since we changed it. It has more of an intimidating sort of back piece kind of look to it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the rook pieces. We'll continue on later where we create, let's actually go for the bishop before we go for the knights, since the knights are a little bit more asymmetrical when compared to these other pieces. But yeah, for now, let's take a short break and come back to this later. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, now we have our chessboard, pawn, and our rook. We're just going to go ahead and hide these guys right here. We're going to turn on the previous sort of layer that we created, where we put our extra rook in. I'm just going to rename this as the bishop. And with our bishop, we're going to just go ahead, like the pawn piece, going to go ahead and delete the upper section right here, since we don't need this, like this sort of shape right here. Just going to go into face mode, and we are going to select the outer face right here, delete those faces, click L, and delete this section as well. Now the bishop has a sort of different, well, more of a different type of shape to it. It has this nice little, well, kind of bell-like curve or bell-like shape, and it's slightly taller when compared to the other pieces. So we're just going to go ahead and grab the well, the edge right here, and I'm just going to raise it roughly around like, I don't know, this tall. Let's see how tall the other pieces were. Go into side view, check out the rooks. Let's go extrude from this layer up to generally around like here or something. That seems pretty good. And I'm just going to close off the rook layer that we have right here. I'm going to go ahead and scale this inwards. And we are going to kind of bring it down, I guess, over here. I'm going to add in a little, like a little circular shape that we have, a little bulb that you'd see on the bishop pieces. Let's just go ahead, extrude up on the Z-axis. And with this piece, I'm just going to go ahead and fill the top here. Let's go into face mode, grab this top face, right click, poke, add in some center edge loops. So actually, I'll go a few right here. Let's go into vertex. I'm going to go into side view, wireframe, select all these upper sort of pieces right here. Or actually, before I do that, let's add in an extra edge loop here before we kind of change up the shape. Let's grab this piece, go into the mesh tab right here, and transform. Under transform, you'll see a 2 sphere. There is the hotkey for it. You can just click on that, but we're just going to click on this option right here. Click on that, and if you move around, you'll notice that the top little bulge piece has been turned into a sphere, which is what we're looking for. And let's go back into solid, check it out. There you go. A little, I guess it's like a little adornment that you put on like a bishop's hat. But yeah, we can just add more edge loops on this to make it more smooth, make it more of a little, I guess, a small ball. In fact, I'm just going to shrink this a little bit more, like so. Go into edge mode, grab the top edge here, and go double click G, slide it up a little bit, and maybe shift it up, add more flesh to this piece right here. And yeah, I guess this kind of shape looks good right here. I'm gonna grab this section, scale it outwards, add in bevels, or yeah, it seems good enough. Add in like two. Two seems good. Don't need three. Okay, so 2 segments on that bevel, and there we go. We have sort of the top hat of the bishop sort of piece right here. Definitely need to move this up a little bit, give it a little, I guess, longer neck when compared to what we had on the rook. Just gonna grab, well, dissolve on the edges. We don't really need 2 right now. Just double click G, move this up. I guess roughly about here, and push it upwards. I'm also gonna slightly shift this whole section over here upwards. Let's go into wireframe, deselect, just grab these guys, and double click G, slide upwards. Actually, no, this is face select, so I'm just gonna move it manually upwards towards the neck of our bishop hat right here. Let's go into edge mode. Let's scale this guy a little bit more. Bring this over here, scale it outwards. Actually, let's go into proportional editing, scale this outwards more, and then we can add in some bevels onto this. And there you go, we have sort of a bishop hat. Let's turn off proportional editing. Let's go back into side view, jump back into solids. Gonna sort of curve this guy, this sort of neck area downwards. Let's go into edit mode. Let's add in, I guess, 3 edge loops right here. We can tweak the smoothness as well. And that seems pretty good. Could maybe add a few more just in case. I guess 0.75 seems like a decent curve right there. Could probably shrink this piece down, or this section. Scale, Shift Z. Down to around here. Seems pretty good. Yeah, there you go. We have the base sort of bishop shape to it. Gonna have to add in a few edge loops here to kind of separate that, well, that weird sphere shape right here that we had. I'm gonna go bevel this as well. Control B. Give it more of a gradual kind of curve or like shape change right there. And it also kind of makes it more crisp over there as well. Now the bishop pieces usually have like this, I guess a cut down this center or the side right here. Depends on how you look at it. We're just gonna sort of create this divot in here. We can either cut it clean or just make it a slight bit right there. And just before doing anything, I feel like we could probably fix up these sections a little bit. Ooh, turn on proportional editing, scale this down, double click G. Actually no, let's dissolve this edge, grab this guy, double click G, go towards that piece right there, Control R, scale it down, Control B, slight bevel, decrease the segments to just 1. Check it out, seems pretty good. Okay, let's go ahead and cut that little portion out. Let's go ahead and, you know what, I'm gonna half this before we do anything. That way we just have to work on one side when we're sort of creating that weird cut. Let's go delete this face, the bottom face as well. And let's go in top view. So let's just go into wireframe. Be easier to select all these guys. Delete faces, make sure all faces are gone. Good. Let's go in here, go into modifiers, add in the mirror. And this is on the x-axis. Let's go back into solids. I'm gonna go turn on clipping. Let's check out where we should cut. I'm thinking of, wait, let's see, side view. Okay, let's cut like right here. I am going to grab sort of like this portion. Just go grab the faces so you can actually see it. These faces, we're gonna extrude it inwards, but As you can see, they're kind of square in shape. So we'll need to sort of make some cuts. Like, okay, grab these points, click enter. It'll cut a edge loop down here. Do the same thing here. Grab all the way to here. Click enter. Back into face mode. Select these extra faces that we just created. And actually, let's grab this piece. I didn't have to cut this section right here. We are going to click on I to inset a shape right here. And we are just going to go ahead, actually before we do anything, go into face mode, select these pieces right here, delete faces, grab the edge right here, shift it to the side or the x-axis. They'll snap together right there. I don't need this piece right here. Let's just dissolve that extra cut that we made. Let's grab the faces again, these guys right here, and we're just gonna go extrude, or we could sort of, you know, I'll just push it in from here, but I feel like making this a clean cut inwards would be better. Just hold shift to slide that in. It's a bit too much. I'm gonna turn off snap mode. Let's just shift tab to undo everything here. Okay, yeah. Let's extrude, follow that sort of axes that it creates from that surface. Roughly around here, seems pretty good. And there you go, we have that basic sort of cut right there. Could probably clean it up a little bit more. Now, we are going to just gonna go ahead and add in some bevels. We're actually gonna scale this a little bit. Scale on the x-axis. No, let's go on y-axis. Nah, never mind. Let's go into edges, the outer edge right here. Not those ones. Double click on G. Try and slide it. I need to fix up these sort of inner edges right here, these extra edges. I could dissolve these right here, and it'll create sort of a 4-piece right here. Let's grab edge, double click G, slide it a little bit, grab this piece, double click G, slide it out, this one as well, double click, slide. Okay, pretty good. Let's go to the outer edge right here. Control B, we're going to add in that bevel. Okay, pretty good. This one right here, double click G, slide it out here. Check it out, seems pretty good. Could probably fix this up a little. We don't need these edges right here actually. Dissolve edge, since this is a square. There's a square as well. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this a little bit, fix things up. Go into edge mode again, grab these guys. Control B. Let's see how it looks. There you go. Now we could also kind of slide this portion up a tad bit. Let's go. Just go into vertex mode. Let's grab this section. So this one. Double click G. Slide it upwards. Seems pretty good. Definitely need to shape this a little bit more. And this portion, double click G, slide it up flat. Let's go to this side view. Okay, it's kind of compressed inwards, so need to grab these guys, pull them out. Let's say like right here or something. And these 2 points, shift this out, double click G, so you can try and slide this up instead. As you know, need to bring this upwards, or no, I guess this one's okay. Kind of needs to be like in there for this to be like straighter. But yeah, there you go. We have sort of that divot that you'd see on the bishop pieces. In fact, if you want it to be longer, you can just add in extra selection on those faces over here, you can pull this sort of archway upwards more. But yeah, there you have it. We have our bishop piece. Some places still might want to, fix up. Like this neck area needs a little bit more work. Control B. Just add in side bevel. Control B. Scale it out a little bit. Bevel this a little bit too. It seems okay. Let's grab this piece, scale in a little bit. No. You know what? I don't think I need that. Let's dissolve these edges. Keep like one in the center, scale up a little bit. Or let's try and smooth it through the edge loop, sort of smooth function here. Minus, that's a bit too much. Let's see if we can change off and fall off. Let's go like, let's try sphere. No, let's go smooth. It doesn't work like that. Let's try like this, sort of like a bulb like shape. Yeah, that seems decent enough. I'll just use this as our shape. But yeah, there you go. We have our bishop. I feel like we could probably press this section in more. Let's go into face. Grab these outer faces. Scale on the X. Like so. Yeah, it seems a little bit better doing that. Let's grab this face. Let's move on the X. Yeah, I'll take it. Seems pretty decent. Yeah, there you go. We have our bishop. Let's turn on this chessboard. Let's go into Look Dev. And let's make sure the orientation and everything is proper. Just gonna take this piece, Shift D. Gonna move this. Gonna make sure we have snap mode on. Snap, vertex, median, Shift D. Snap it right beside the queen and king spots. Shift D. Take these guys. Actually, let's take this piece and put it into a new layer. Let's take this piece and drag and drop it in here. Hide this. Ooh, wrong piece. Oh well. Let's take this one, put it back in. And uh-oh, I took the whole thing by accident. Whatever. Let's take this. Okay, I'm just gonna deselect it. This piece into here. This piece back into the bishops. Turn off that one. Okay. Take these two. Shift D. Move it on the y-axis all the way to this midpoint. And let's just switch the materials over into the white side right here. Control L, link to materials, and there you go. And yeah, there you go. We have our bishop, our rook, and our pawns. Let's check how it looks. It looks fairly decent. You might want to spin these guys around, because right now these guys are facing. Well, actually, I feel like this should be on the side instead of like facing one direction. We could make it face one direction. You know what? I'll just do that instead. Let's go into the median pivot points right here. I'm gonna go individual origins. Just rotate on the z-axis, and I think like right here. You can check the rotations. That is 107 degrees. Let's go 180. Manually type it in for this one as well. Yeah, there you go. They're facing each other now. And yeah, we have our chess pieces ready to go. Well, the bishop, rook, and pawns. Next up, we'll make let's go with the knight next. But yeah, for now, let's take a short break and we'll come back to that later. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this course. If you want to watch the rest of the course, the link is down below. Not only will you get the access to this course, but you'll get access to a lot of other courses in a huge bundle, and it's on sale today. So buy it before the sale ends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.